Okay, last video got cut off. We're talking about texture. I was interrupted, so I'm going to finish off the rest of this question, and we're going to go into the section on rhythm. Now, we were up to bar 48, and we are talking about how this bar here can be called monophonic texture because there's only one voice, and this backing vocal, male and female, don't have anything. We have rests. These are top hats or minim rests. Minim means half note. For two beats, we have silence. So you can say with confidence that this one bar sung by the lead vocal is monophonic texture. However, when we get to bar 49 and bar 50, well, let's just talk about bar 49. It's very complicated and very dense, isn't it? So we can say that bit is harmonized because you're moving at the same time. So the backing vocals are harmonizing each other. You have a separate lead line. The melody has a different melody or rhythm. And you've got the lead guitar sort of filling in the backbeats. Remember, this is beat 1, this is and, beat 2, and, beat 3, and, beat 4, and, creating that sort of reggae feel. We're going to come back to rhythm, but backbeats, it's called a backbeat when you accent the weaker beats. The bass guitar is sort of playing dum dum do, a syncopation. So in combination of this, and you've got the drums filling in there with repeated pattern there. Remember how we don't really add drums when we're talking about classical texture, so monophonic, polyphonic, and homophonic textures. But you can, this is not polyphonic, it's not classical music, so we can talk about different density. Yeah, thin texture and thick texture. If you look at the workbook, later in the workbook, they mention when you study the texture, you'll have the texture for pop genre. This is for pop music. Okay, so we could actually avoid the words polyphonic, homophonic, but I'm going to use these words, but I think it's more appropriate to use thicker texture, but you can describe what's happening here. So it's almost like polyphonic texture, but we wouldn't really say polyphonic. This is very dense. There's a lot happening. Here we can see it's more thicker because all three voices are singing the same rhythm, and it creates that sense of harmony. Look at that. F sharp, A, D. Ooh, that's a D, F sharp, A, which is your D major triad. Right? That's the root, that's the third, that's the fifth. And it's going to create a very powerful, it's not a root position there, but you can hear it's going to be very thick harmony there. And in conjunction with the reggae feel. Okay, so what am I going to say? How does the texture of the music change? So I guess in this context, you could say that. And I think it is appropriate to also use that. But you could also talk about in terms of texture being very thick. So I'm going to say bar 49 to 50, you have the most thickest and complex texture or density. And you're going to say why, where you could describe these backing vocals are harmonized. There's two-part harmony going on. But you've also got an independent solo line combined with rhythm, the lead guitar playing. So what is the lead guitar playing? It's playing chords, right? Chordal accompaniment. Using backbeats. So accenting the offbeats, yeah? And bass guitar playing syncopated riffs. Okay. Now that seems very complex, but what the key words that we're I'm looking for, it's very thick. Yeah. Very dense. And I'm just describing what's happening in those bars, right? I'm not using anything too fancy. I'm just describing that part there being harmonized. But you could mention bar 50, all three voices are harmonized with each other, creating a very choral kind of effect. The lead guitar hasn't changed much. It just is happily going chop, 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 chop. So quite predictable in a way. But you have that steady rhythm that provides like an anchor point, and bum, da. So that's the bass line, the bass guitar is working together with the lead guitar. Dum 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 dum. Okay, right. So what am I going to say about the rhythm? That's not the last question. So we've got those last questions there. Okay, so rhythm. How does the rhythmic feel of the music change within extract 3? So you have to go all the way back to the start of extract 3. Let's see where these changes are. Okay. Now, at the start of this, so remember these two lines, it's very light, isn't it? The rhythmic feel, the lead guitar, I'm going to just erase all this. It's irrelevant now. Okay. The lead guitar is coming in beat 1 and beat 3. Remember, beat in a 4/4 time, 4 beats per bar. The strongest beats are your 1 and 3. So if you come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of predictable because it's repetitive, but also very steady. So I would say bars 41 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 44, very steady rhythm. So we feel quite secure because the lead guitar provides the harmony with strums every 1 and 3rd beat, the first and the 3rd beat, which is the strong beats. Okay. So it doesn't quite have that reggae feel, but it has sort of a remnant of a reggae because we've got 1 and 2. And the hi-hats on the drum set are playing the backbeats. And we don't really know how loud this is because there's no dynamic marking to indicate. If we had P's, that would be piano or soft. Okay, hi-hats playing the offbeats of the second and fourth beat. Okay, so that's all right. So the feel is quite strong, bar 41 to 44 on the downbeats. We still have the downbeats. However, what's changed? Well, bum 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 ba-da-da. Well, the rhythmic feel of this is quite regular too. That's the national anthem. So I'd say that part quite regular. But here we now have the feel of the 16th beats. One, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the kick drum. So that's your kick drum. I'm assuming. Yeah, that's the lowest one there. These are your kick drum. So the kick now is more pronounced. The kick drum or the bass drum is playing every second and fourth beat. Again, this gives the feel of reggae feel. But this now, the subdivided 16th beats on the hi-hat are now providing a bit more drive to it. Okay, so I could actually say, so these pulse on the hi-hats drives the rhythm forward. This is more like a brainstorming. So if you have a spare piece of paper, you'll just go rhythmic feel. That's a very difficult concept, isn't it? Just the feel of the music is whether, the music is energetic. Is it propelling forward? Is it sort of staggering? Or is it jumpy? Or because that's what we're talking about when we're talking about rhythm. And we're looking at mostly the drums, but the lead guitar, remember, and the bass are your rhythm section. The rhythm section in a band are bass, drums, and I guess rhythm guitar or guitar. Guitar could work. You could have piano that could drive the rhythm. Anything that plays rhythm. Okay, so, yep. But it's not until we get to, so that hasn't changed very much. The melody has some sort of, syncopation going on there. Yeah, so that's sort of an offbeat feel, but it hasn't really taken off. But here, there's a big change from 49 to 50. We have the full band playing sort of the offbeat reggae feel. Driven by the lead guitar and the kick bass. Well, it is coming on 1, 2. Okay. Okay. But this one, it's not actually the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so it sort of has a faster feel. It doesn't actually come in on the the second beat and the fourth beat, it actually arrives a little bit earlier than that. So it syncopated feel, created. So we have the lead guitars coming in on the, these are quaver beats. So like those quaver beats there. We've got 4 of them in crotchet, but instead of playing that first one, we have a rest. Yeah. So you can see that this is even more pronounced. It sort of has a faster feel. So instead of going 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the bass drum is going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so you can see that when they combine, the bass drum's going, the lead guitars go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and yeah, so very okay. So what we're going to say is the rhythm starts, the rhythmic feel changes after bar. I think it gradually changes. So from bar, bar 41, 42, 44, bar 44, addition of those 16 beats, yeah? When the hi-hats play this. You could say 4 semi-quaver beats or 16th note beats, giving the music more drive, more rhythmic drive. Whereas in, you could say previously, it has steady rhythm, right? So 41 to 43, rhythm is more steady, with the lead guitar playing minim chords on the first beat, on beats 1 and 3, just the strong beats. The rhythm really changes, the rhythmic feel really changes from 49 onwards. To 50, the reggae feel is firmly set or established through well, I'm going to just draw the pattern. Syncopated backbeats on the lead guitar, combining with the kick drum 2 and 4. So I guess the key words here, the changes, it actually goes from something quite steady to something quite rhythmic or driving. And then that one is the kicker. Sorry, that's no pun intended there. The reggae feel with these kind of syncopated backbeats, combining with the kick drums coming in it. That's also another syncopation. But yeah, well, I think that ought to do, or complete that section of the question. Texture. Okay, next time we're going to look at the very last question on chords. Thank you.